It's 1974, and a man walks into a car dealership armed with nothing but a single number written on a piece of paper. Little did the salesman know, this number would forever change the game of negotiation. That man was Herb Cohen, a master negotiator, and that number, $183. In a matter of minutes, Cohen used the power of the anchoring effect to turn that humble figure into a legendary deal, saving himself thousands of dollars. Intrigued? Stay tuned as we delve into the fascinating world of negotiation and uncover the secrets behind Cohen's legendary triumph and how you can replicate his success in your own negotiations. Well, the phenomenon is called the anchoring effect, and you are here at the Nerds Club. What exactly is the anchoring effect? Well, in simple terms, it's a smooth or perhaps deceiving transition from it's bad to it's not that bad. Let me tell you a story about how I discovered this the hard way. So there I was, craving my usual latte. I walked into this trendy coffee shop and saw the price, $7 for a small latte. $7. I thought, is this liquid gold? But then I noticed the large latte was only $9. Suddenly, that $7 small seemed like a terrible deal. I went for the large. That's the anchoring effect in action. The first price I saw set my expectations, and the $9 price seemed like a bargain in comparison. I walked out feeling proud of my savvy decision-making. Then it hit me. I had just fallen for a classic psychological trick. The initial high price had anchored my perception, making the larger size seem like a steal. In reality, I spent more than I originally intended, tricked by the cleverly set prices. It was a humbling reminder of how easily we can be influenced by the anchoring effect, even when we think we're making rational choices. Well done, brain. So what exactly happened here? The anchoring effect was at play. The first piece of information you encounter, known as the anchor, sets the stage for your perception and decision-making. In this case, the $7 small latte served as the anchor. The anchoring effect is a cognitive bias, where we rely too heavily on the initial information we receive. Our brains latch onto that first number or detail, making it difficult to adjust our perception afterwards. It's like our brains grab onto that initial number and won't let go. Convenient, right? This effect is prevalent beyond just coffee shop pricing. Take YouTube, for example. Savvy YouTubers use eye-catching thumbnails and headlines to set an anchor. Your brain grabs onto that initial image or statement, influencing how you perceive the content that follows. So, there I was, scrolling through YouTube, just minding my own business. Then I stumbled upon a video with a thumbnail that screamed, "I made $1 million in a week." I thought, yeah, right. What kind of scam is this? But then, as I watched, the YouTuber said, now I know making $1 million in the week sounds crazy, but even if you make just $10,000 in a week, wouldn't that be amazing? Suddenly, $10,000 didn't sound so impossible. That's the anchoring effect at work. The first outrageous claim set my expectations sky high, making a still impressive amount seem much more reasonable. You see this all the time on YouTube. Content creators use big, flashy numbers or shocking statements to grab your attention. Lose 50 pounds in 2 weeks, or how I bought a mansion at 21. These extreme anchors get you hooked, and then they reel you in with more realistic but still enticing claims. Whether you're negotiating your salary, making a promise to your audience, or just trying to get a good deal, the anchoring effect is always in action. Once an anchor is set, it can heavily influence our judgment and decisions. Sounds powerful, right? Well, it is. But the big question is, how can we use this effect to our advantage? And how do we counter it when someone else tries to use it on us? Now let's discuss how we can use this mind-blowing effect for our own advantage. The first step is to set the initial anchor. For the sake of this, let's go back to Herb Cohen's story. When the salesman approached and they sat down to discuss the terms, Cohen did something unconventional. Instead of starting with a conventional offer, he handed the salesman a slip of paper with a number significantly lower than the asking price. Let's say, for the sake of this example, it was $183. This number was not meant to be the final price. but rather an anchor to set the tone for the negotiation. The salesman, seeing the extremely low number, was initially taken aback. This lowball offer served as an anchor, creating a psychological baseline. Despite knowing that the price was unrealistic, the salesman now had this figure in mind, which would subconsciously influence the rest of the negotiation. Cohen then used a combination of charm, wit, and rational arguments to justify his low anchor. He might have pointed out flaws in the car, market conditions, or other factors that could warrant a lower price. His goal was to make the anchor seem more reasonable and to nudge the negotiation closer to his favor. As the negotiation progressed, the salesman made counteroffers that were higher than Cohen's anchor, but lower than the initial asking price. Each counteroffer was carefully considered and met with additional arguments or minor concessions from Cohen. By controlling the pace and framing of the negotiation, Cohen was able to steer the discussion toward a more favorable outcome. Ultimately, through a series of strategic moves and persuasive tactics, Cohen succeeded in negotiating a price that was significantly lower than the dealership's original offer. While it might not have been as low as $183, the final price was far better than what an average customer might have achieved. The key takeaway from Cohen's negotiation is the power of the anchoring effect. By setting an initial low anchor, Cohen was able to influence the range within which the final agreement was made. This tactic, combined with his ability to justify his offers and strategically manage counteroffers, showcases the effectiveness of psychological principles in negotiation. Herb Cohen's stories, whether fully accurate or slightly embellished, serve as valuable lessons in the art of negotiation. They emphasize the importance of preparation, psychological insight, and strategic thinking in achieving successful outcomes. Step 2. Use precise numbers. Instead of asking for $50,000, ask for $51,500. It sounds like you've done your homework and are confident in your value. Precise numbers can make your anchor seem more thought out and justified. However, in reality, we are often under the spell of the anchoring effect, targeted by marketing agencies, multinational corporations, and others. Thus, the most important part is not just understanding the anchoring effect, but also mastering the counter-anchoring effect. So let's discuss how we can counter the anchoring effect to turn negotiations in our favor. Step 1. Identify the anchor. First things first, recognize when an anchor is being set. Knowing this helps you avoid being unduly influenced. Step 2. Do your research. Knowledge is power. Know the market rates, average prices, or typical conditions. This helps you decide if the anchor is fair. For example, if you know that similar jobs in your field offer between $70,000 and $80,000, you're in a good spot to counter a low offer. Next, set your own anchor. If you sense an anchor being set, introduce your own. This helps shift the negotiation closer to what you want. Step 4. Ask for justification. When someone sets an anchor, ask them to justify it. This can expose weak points in their argument and give you a chance to present your own facts. And last but not least, delay your decision. If you're unsure, take a step back and think about it. This reduces the chance of making an impulsive decision based on the initial anchor. Imagine your employer offers you $60,000 for a job. You know it's low. Here's what you do. Notice that the $60,000 offer is setting the stage for the negotiation. Show that the market rate is $70,000 to $80,000. Come prepared with data and evidence that justify a higher salary range. This info helps counter the initial anchor by providing a realistic market perspective. Introduce your desired figure, like $78,000. This sets a new anchor point for the negotiation. Challenge the initial offer by asking why they think $60,000 is fair. This can reveal weaknesses in their position and gives you a chance to present your own data. If needed, ask for time to consider the offer. Don't rush into a decision. Taking time lets you reflect and gather more information if necessary. reducing the chance of making a hasty choice influenced by the initial anchor. By understanding and strategically using the anchoring effect, you can improve your negotiation outcomes and better handle situations where others might try to influence you. This awareness and proactive approach help you navigate negotiations more effectively, ensuring you get a better result. In ancient times, negotiations took place on the battlefield, where terms were set and alliances forged or broken. Victors imposed their will, and losers negotiated for the best possible outcome. Fast forward to today, and negotiation has evolved into a fine art practiced in boardrooms, courtrooms, and even in our own homes. At its core, negotiation is about finding common ground, understanding each party's needs, and reaching a mutually beneficial agreement. It requires empathy, creativity, and strategic thinking. Whether you're bargaining for a better price on a car or navigating a complex business deal, the principles of negotiation remain the same. In a world where conflicts abound and interests often clash, mastering the art of negotiation is more important than ever. It's a skill that empowers individuals and nations alike to navigate the complexities of our interconnected world and find peaceful resolutions to even the most seemingly intractable disputes. So let's go forth with confidence, ready to tackle whatever negotiation comes our way. And if by chance you find yourself stuck along the way, remember, we are here. Of course, at the Nerds Club,